Recently, things on the lines I railfan on have been, interesting. For pretty much the entire first half of July 2026, there was very little stuff running, and it was overall a very boring time to be a railfan out here. Aside from nickel plate, I guess, which was a really fun time, but I had to go way away from my main railfanning area to catch that. Either way, the first half of July was very boring, but once we hit the second half, oh boy, the craziness was ramped up to levels I didn't even know possible. But we're going to take a while to get there, because we have to start on July 3rd. You see, on this day, I was heading down to Stillwell to see if I could see the South Shore local, and as we were coming in, we heard a train. But it wasn't the South Shore, no, it was a Gevo horn. We found ourselves at this random crossing and just barely caught this CN intermodal train with an ex-City Rail leader. I love these things, and I was very glad to see one in the lead. This was my first time, actually. 3 days later, on July 6th, my aunt managed to catch a Norfolk Southern sand train at the Tyler Street crossing, with an ex-Olympic CP Gevo trailing second. After that, for the next 8 days, not a single good train ran while I could see it on any of the lines, until finally, the dead streak was broken on July 14th. I wanted to see a train so bad on this day that I was literally sitting in my room with every cam under the sun open, hoping that something good would go by. And finally, NS34G rolled through Chesterton with a former Sioux Line CP painted SD60 trailing fourth. Given that the engine was probably going for a repaint, scrapping, or rebuilding, given the fact it's on this train, I had to catch it. Not to mention I've never seen one of these before. So I headed to the depot, and in about 5 minutes after I got there it was. However, the craziness did not stop, because that very same evening, my mom was driving through Union Mills and got stopped by a CN manifest, and trailing second was a partially patched ex-City Rail. After she saw that, she quickly called me and told me there was a City Rail on a CN manifest heading towards Stillwell. And guess who happened to be in Stillwell with his camcorder at that exact moment? Me. So I went back to the same crossing I caught the first City Rail at and made it there just in time before the manifest flew by. I have never seen a partially patched ex-City Rail before, so I was very happy with this. And, ironically, this is 2774, exactly one number higher than the last ex-City Rail I saw. Then on July 19th, my dad managed to catch a Norfolk Southern manifest, also at the Tyler Street crossing, with 2 KCS units and a UP one. And that same night, I was able to snap these photos of DMNIR/CKIN 813, which is the Wellsboro grain elevator switcher. I wanted to go down there to get some photos with the Canon since I've never done that, but it was too far away for proper ones. Then after that was the whole fiasco on July 21st, 2026, which was so good it deserved its own video. But the following day, I went back trackside, this time on the NS Chicago line, to catch NS 4002 leading 264 eastbound. I've seen 4002 twice before, but both those shots were utter garbage, so I figured as long as this one was okay, it would be worth coming out here. And oh boy, it was more than okay. In fact, it was an amazing shot, because it perfectly met with 267 with an H2-9 leader. I'm telling you, when this meet happened, I literally had my jaw fully open in complete shock filming it. I have never gotten a perfect meet this good before, and I'm telling you, for the next 2 hours, I was just losing my mind. I was so happy. But no, that's not where it ended. Because on July 24th, at 6:30 p.m., I was just chilling in my room. I didn't have any plans to go rail fanning that evening. I knew that Erie was coming on a westbound, but I've already seen that unit twice, so I didn't care. Until all of a sudden Liam, aka Northwest Indiana Railfan, texted me saying that none other than UP 1943 was leading 6K4 eastbound. I opened the Whiting cam, and after an hour of waiting, it showed up. I was in actual disbelief because, Union Pacific unit on the NS Chicago line. And, obviously this isn't going to be rare in 2 or 3 years once UP buys out Norfolk Southern. But right now, this is a super rare occurrence, and I never thought I'd see this unit for a good 2-3 years. So I was so happy. Not to mention it was a leading. Sadly, it was going to come way after dark, but that's why I have the stupidly bright Bentley. And at around 9, we made our way out to the depot, only to be greeted with fireworks from the nearby LaPorte Lake Fest as we were making it there. Once I got to the depot, me and Liam sat and screamed about how awesome this was for 30 minutes while we waited for 1943 to arrive. We watched the fireworks, chatted, and just waited, as Railfans do, until eventually we finally saw an eastbound headlight and quickly set up before 1943 came flying by in the lead of NS 6K4. After seeing this unit in person, I can attest, this is amazing. This is the best UP paint scheme they have ever made. Seriously, UP should paint every engine in this livery, although I know they never will, because, it actually costs money. And very shortly after the tail end of 6K4 cleared, we saw headlights for a westbound. The westbound with the Erie unit trailing second. As I said, I wouldn't have gone out for this on its own, but it was still really awesome that I managed to see this unit a third time by essentially complete accident. After Erie passed, we would have left. However, we had gotten a report earlier that made us want to stay. A very special report, because following 10 minutes behind 1943 eastbound was NS30Q with NS1070 the Wabash trailing second. Oh my god! To put this into context, not only is this my favorite NS Heritage unit, but it was also the last one I needed. Now I have seen all 22. So, yeah, I was not gonna miss this, so we waited for an extra 10 minutes, and 30Q eventually showed up. After those 3 special units passed in the span of half an hour, as you can imagine, we were completely surprised. And we had plans to leave, yet again, but that didn't happen, yet again, because we saw a westbound headlight. The power was nothing special, it was just 17V with a DC GEVO, which is kind of rare, and an ACE, but yeah, at least we got one more train. Now, you'd think after that we would be done, right? And yeah, we were done with the depot, but not the tracks. Because after that, we headed out to LaPorte Siding to find this. Right before Wabash had came, another railfan showed up, and he told us that NS34G was sitting in LaPorte Siding, and it once again had a Canadian Pacific EMD standard cab on it, this time being an Action Red SD40 number 6080. This is my first time seeing Action Red, so I was very happy to see this, not to mention the fact that I got some cool night photos. This trip, I just cannot believe, what? I'm telling you, this is some Southline District level nonsense. What? I mean, hey, I'm not complaining, and I'm very grateful, but keep it up, Norfolk Southern. Actually, I think a CSX is going to eclipse them, because literally as I am recording this, I am preparing to leave to go to Walkden to catch more crap down there. So, I guess I should end this. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to catch those units while you can, especially the ones that... You know what? I can't even think of a description. This is ridiculous. Fine. Especially the ones that perfectly meet or something like that, or are the last ones you need to catch a set of heritage units or something. And I will see you in the next video.